Hey guys, Chris here with the Good Old Gamer. So a few weeks ago, or a month or so ago, I put up this video basically predicting what was going to happen to Intel over the next year. There are a lot of factors out there that are not looking very good for the blue giant, and it looks like things are starting to happen and take effect today. So today we're going to take a look at Jefferies predicting AMD's rise over the next year. Now that's not too big of a concern, everybody's expecting them to do well with Ryzen 2 or Zen 2, and that's not really out of this world. But the amount that they're expecting AMD to grow and Intel to shrink is quite troubling, especially for investors out there. And so that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. This is going to be a little bit more financial. It's not going to be super deep dive, but this does give us a glimpse as to what the financial markets and how they feel about Intel and their future. So that's what we're going to talk about here today, so stick around and check it out. Now, I found this article over here on Techpowerup, but more interestingly, the source of this information is actually coming from CNBC. Now, I actually don't really like the way that their website is set up, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and read the big information off of Techpowerup's website. More buyers for AMD due to Intel CPU shortages. OEMs are unhappy. Now, if you guys missed it, a few weeks ago, Intel announced that they were actually going to move back their H310 chipsets from 14 nanometers back to 22 nanometers. And the reason for that is their overproduction on their 14 nanometer process. There's too many chips being made there, and they can't supply enough of them. So they're going to take back some of the cheaper stuff and bring it back to the 22 nanometer process. Now, Intel would not be doing this, as they would have to redesign the chip from 14 nanometer to 22 nanometer, and that's going to cost them money. So the only reason why this makes sense to them is they'd actually lose more money making these chips on 14 nanometers than on 22, and absorbing that redesign cost. Alright, so back to the article. Intel is hit by crippling inventory shortages. That's pretty much exactly what I just explained to you guys. They can't make enough 14 nanometer products at this point. A key short-term consequence of these shortages in Intel's inventories is more uninitiated buyers discovering AMD processors. Basically, people that don't even know AMD exists will now find out about AMD. So, essentially, free marketing. Now that they have achieved the highest levels of competitiveness against Intel in over a decade. So basically, this is the absolute worst time in the past 10 years that this could happen to Intel. The stock market analyst firm Jefferies, which I went ahead and checked these guys out. That's what they do. They're a financial institution group. So basically what they do is they look at what value is going to be out there and what companies are going to do well. So this way they can make their shareholders money. So this is what they do for a living. Raised AMD's outlook for Q4 2018 and projects that its $30 stock price could hit $36 by raising its target price. So basically they're saying that AMD's value by the end of this year could hit 20% higher than previous projections. That is a huge increase. OEMs are not happy with Intel. Basically, Intel either wants more money or they just simply can't keep up supply, or both. A report from research firm Rubin predicts that by next year, 1 in every 3 personal computers sold by HP will run an AMD processor. So instead of there just being an AMD unit available and then 10 or 12 Intel units competing with it, 1 in 3 will be using AMD. So that is a huge difference. But Fubin's report that Intel will undersupply the PC market between Q4 2018, so basically where we're at now, and Q2, or the second quarter of 2019. And this leaves with higher conviction that AMD will be reporting improved revenue, pricing, margins in the near term, and is in the position to take share in the high-end PC, MPU, and server markets long term. Basically things like Rome and Zen 2, which is really where AMD wants to take a lot of market share. And this was said by stock market analyst Mark Lepakis. And he predicts that AMD's CPU market share climbs up to 30% through the end of next year, which is a huge feat. Now, right now, AMD's somewhere around the 10%-ish mark. So if he believes that they can get anywhere near 30%, that is a monumentally huge gain in their overall market share. And realistically, by that point, if he expects a 30% market share by the end of next year, this is going to at least double and possibly triple. Hey, if you double or triple your market share, your stock price is obviously going to reflect a huge portion of that. So that is really, really huge news for AMD, and it's kind of the perfect storm against Intel. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about in that video that I mentioned earlier. I'll put it up again here. Links are in the description below. You should probably check that out. I didn't realize that they were going to oversaturate their 14nm supply line so heavily, so I couldn't have predicted that a few months ago whenever that video came out. But it's definitely the perfect storm. AMD has competitive CPU technology now. They're gaining advantage in process technology because Intel's 10nm process just doesn't work right now, not in the way that it needs to. And it's not going to compete against TSMC's 7nm for at least another year, possibly longer, if ever, which is really, really crazy. So they have competitive CPUs as far as architecture goes. They have manufacturing superiority. And they are going to gain market share just due to the sheer fact that Intel cannot supply it. But any which way you slice it, Intel is on the ropes and AMD is on the rise. And there's really nothing that they can do about it. So for all of you out there that are interested in the i9 9900K, supply is going to be very, very short. They're going to cost a lot of money. So if you want to get one, forget price to performance and forget value. If you want one, you're going to have to pay whatever it takes, and you need to scoop them up for whatever price they're going for, whether that be $500 or $1,500. I could see them going for at least $1,000 on the secondhand market once supply dries up, and possibly higher. So this is the world that we live in, and like I said, it's just so many combinations of things going on against Intel that everybody is now starting to look at them. Like I showed you, CNBC, the stock market, all these guys are looking at this company that's been so durable, so reliable over the years, and wondering what the hell their management has done. Because they are just imploding upon themselves. They hit a few snags, they finally had a little bit of competition, and then they start falling apart. And it just doesn't look good. As an investor, I wouldn't have much confidence in them. And as an investor, AMD is looking great, and that's what these guys are talking about. If you want to make a lot of money, this might not be a long-term thing, but if you want to make a lot of money within the next year or two, certainly looks like this is going to be a safe bet, with HP bumping up to at least 1 in 3 of their units being an AMD unit, and with AMD possibly gaining up to 30% market share by the end of next year. That is a huge, huge gain. So I just wanted to go ahead and bring this up. What do you guys think? Is this something that you thought you would see? Intel just completely collapse on itself? I figured that they'd still be competitive, and then we'd have, competition in the market between the two. But it looks like they just can't do anything right, and I actually almost feel a little bit bad for them, because everything is going wrong for this company at this point. But realistically, it is on them. This is up to their management, their leadership. They have failed Intel as a company, and now they're failing their investors. And that's when it gets bad. Because, if I don't like something that Intel's doing, I don't buy their product, whatever. They don't care. They don't make a couple $100s off of me. That's not the end of the world. Now, when the stock market doesn't like Intel, they can lose billions and billions of dollars, and no company in the world is immune to the stock market, and if they get a bad taste in their mouth, they can bring down companies a lot more than me or you ever could. But that's just my thought. I just wanted to let you guys know that this is starting to happen. Everything I was talking about in that video, it looks like it's just going to be one piece at a time, and there's even more things on top. So it's just kind of one of those, just grab your popcorn, sit back and watch. It's up to Intel to fix their mess. And it's really up to AMD to capitalize. This is really their time. They're given the absolute best opportunity they ever could to succeed in this market and take back a huge market share and see if they can retain it. So it's pretty much AMD's game to lose at this point. So I'm excited to see how they do. I'm interested to see what Intel does to go ahead and fix this or stabilize the market, because they need to get investor confidence back up, because reports like this are not instilling confidence. But yeah, as I said, I want to hear your guys' opinion down in the comment section below. I'm not really a financials guy. I mean, numbers are numbers. I mean, you can see them, and you can see going from a 10-ish% market share to a 30%. That's monstrous within 1 year. And going from expected $30 stock price up to 36, that's 20% higher by the end of this year. That's pretty huge stuff. So that I can understand. Past that, it's not really my ballpark. It's not my wheelhouse. But I do find this stuff interesting. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share with friends. That really does help me out. And that's all I really have for today. And I will catch you guys in the next video.